Hello, turn on the scroller. Golden Knights win, series is tied, and I am a believer. I'm a believer now, people. Holy shit, they did it again. Killed them again. 3 games in a row, the Golden Knights have smoked the Colorado Avalanche, playing the exact same way, watching the Avalanche get more and more and more frustrated, watching the Avalanche challenge their own players, and still they couldn't do shit. This is exactly what the Golden Knights wanted this series to look like. Obviously, we'll take those 2 games out. That would have been great if they would have won those 2 and the series would have been over already. But that didn't happen. Nonetheless, here we are now after it's a 2-game series. You get the 2 games coming back home, and the Golden Knights throttle them twice. Throttle them 2 times in a row. And here's the thing that I want to talk about, where I want to start. This is a stylistic nightmare for Colorado at this point. What the Golden Knights needed to do is not only thwarting them, that's the part I thought was actually possible. I didn't think the Golden Knights could get to it as often as they've got to it. They've basically gotten to it, 8 periods in a row now. I didn't think that was going to happen, but I knew at times they were going to get to it. The biggest part is the other side. Not only are they throttling and slowing down what the Avs are doing, but it's generating massive amounts of offense for Vegas. That's the part I wasn't sure on. All these opportunities. It's chance after chance after chance, and the reason for it is because the Avalanche are giving the chances up. They're giving the opportunities, and the reason they're giving all these opportunities up is because the Vegas Golden Knights are so well structured coming out of their own zone and going through the neutral zone, and when they forecheck, they're not making bad turnovers. We saw it a couple times earlier in the series. We saw it at times even in Game 3. They aren't giving up these bad turnovers. Today, better with not going in the box, not giving those opportunities. That's a big portion of what's happened. But all of a sudden, you're looking at a series that Vegas is now in complete control. I know it's 2-2. I know we're going back there. I understand last change. It's not going to be easy. But if anyone has control in the series, it's the Golden Knights. And the reason for it is very simple. The main reason for it is because the style the Golden Knights are playing is working to a charm and then some. It's been phenomenal. Not only is it thwarting the offense, but it's generating or thwarting Colorado's speed and their offense and forcing them to have this frustrating moments. It's also generating tons of offense for the Golden Knights. It's drawing penalties. It's allowing them to get 4 lines going. It's keeping these moments alive where they just cannot get out of their zone consistently. I love it. It's amazing. It's not at all how I thought the series would go over the course of a long frame. I talked about it before the series. I thought there would be moments where we would see what we have seen. I don't think anybody who's watched enough of these 2 teams would be able to say, I thought they would play 8 periods in a row where Colorado just literally cannot get going. It's shocking. And after Game 1, it's even more shocking. And as I talked about after Game 2, that the Golden Knights are at the base of the Colorado logo and they've got to climb up. They're over that. If you look at the Colorado logo, they're halfway up now. They're over the big portion. They're over that huge snow flurry or whatever the hell it is coming down that A. They're over that. Now it's just keep climbing up to the top. And now the biggest question is, how does Colorado respond? Because I talked about this in the Periscope last time. I talked about it on the Twitter space. They laid down the law to their team. They shot their bullet. That was it. They wanted this game bad. And not only did they not get it, they got beat up. They got beat up physically. They got beat up mentally. They got beat up on the scoreboard. And now it's a tie series. And now all of those things that they discussed in their little team meeting yesterday, all of these things about we need our top guys to play better, no one's competing but Grubauer, all of these things have to change. They don't have that ammo in the gun anymore. The motivational ammo that you try and use in certain moments, it's gone. They shot their shot and it failed miserably. And it made me wonder why he was shooting that shot when he was shooting that shot. There were two parts of my belief in that. The one half was he thinks, this is Bednar, that he's got a team that can win the cup. And if they don't get going, they might be able to get through Vegas, but they're not going to get through 8 more wins on the back end of Vegas. The other part was what I think we're starting to realize was actually it. He saw those 2 games and said, look, if we keep playing like this, we're out in 6 or 7. We're done in the second round again, and probably we're going to have a huge issue going forward. Because as much as we've been concerned and we've been looking at the future, the fact of the matter is if Colorado goes out in the third round again to this Vegas team, this team ain't going anywhere. And if they can beat them after being down 2-0, all of a sudden they're the ones that are going to have to start reloading and rebuilding. A lot has changed in the past 5 days or 4 days or whatever it's been since the last 2 games. And the reason is because Vegas is playing the simple style, the conservative style, the correct style, and it's doing more than we could have ever imagined. That's the part that is so unbelievable to me, and the part that I never thought was actually going to happen, and why I did not pick the Golden Knights to win this series. I'm starting to get on the other side. The Avs have 1 period to figure this out, their next period. That's it. If they do not come back with something completely new, and the answer to it, I'll tell you, is they have got to abandon this forced carry it in every single time. Their first mentality cannot be carry it in. It has to be to get it in deep behind the Golden Knights and then set up their forecheck and be able to get out their own way. They cannot continue this same way. That doesn't mean they can't hit their transition. That doesn't mean they can't play with speed at times. But what they have to do is they have to get the puck in behind the Golden Knights, because they're standing up at that blue line with 4 guys in the neutral zone and sometimes 5, and there is nowhere to go. And that's the frustration that we thought would set in. I thought Vegas would have some of it setting in. It hasn't. The last 3 games, there's been very little frustration for the Golden Knights outside of the puck wasn't going in for a minute there. And that may return, and that's a huge question mark moving forward, because we've seen these games before where the dam will break and then the dam locks right back up when they go back away. I'm not here telling you that the Golden Knights are definitely going to win this series, but what we've seen, the onus is completely on Colorado. It's 100% on them. It is not their series to lose anymore. It's now their series to figure out and rescue. The Golden Knights are going to keep playing this way. They don't have another way to play in this series. There's no other option. At the beginning of the series, wasn't confident that they would come in and be able to stay this consistent to it. I'm going to show some things over the next couple of days about how they're forechecking, and the way that their forecheck is taking away the walls and taking away the center lane, and it's creating no options for them to get out. They have to change. That's Colorado. They have to change. If they don't change, the Golden Knights are going to keep doing this to them period after period after period. And while it felt before like maybe these are coin flip games, I'm starting to change my mind on it. It's more of a 70-30, 75-25. If the games go this way, the dam will break eventually, that the Golden Knights will get a few 1, 2, 3 goals. And that's going to be enough if they keep going this way. If they keep putting the puck in deep, protecting the puck, not making the errors in their own end or in the neutral zone. All of the errors today, like all of them. I can't think of a single time in the defensive zone the Golden Knights had a bad giveaway. I can't think of one. That's amazing against this team. Now, I think Colorado played into that a little bit in that they just weren't there to make those opportunities. They weren't there to put the puck in deep. The second period, it was almost comical how unwilling they were to put it in. Then they got frustrated. Makar started trying to make plays. McKinnon started trying to make plays. Wasn't going to happen. The Golden Knights absorbed that early issue, and really, if you go back to the first 4 minutes of the game, Vegas had the 2 best chances and didn't score, and then Colorado got somewhat of a cheapie. It should have been 5-0. And it should have probably been 7-0 if the Golden Knights could have hit one of those ones early. That's still a concern. Are they going to be able to be consistent enough to get these goals moving forward the rest of the series? Hopefully. It seems likely. You get 30 some odd high danger chances. Yeah, you're going to finish them, even if you're not a great finishing team, which this team isn't. All of a sudden, all that stuff that Colorado was talking about, all that stuff that they needed to change, we needed to take different routes to the puck, different things. No, none of that was their issue. It wasn't them not competing enough. It wasn't them not getting in on the forecheck enough. It wasn't any of it. All it is right now is puck possession. The Golden Knights are not allowing them to carry the puck across. And when you can't carry the puck across, if you try, you will fail against a good defensive team. Golden Knights are a good defensive team. Things have to change massively, and that's the story of the next 3 games of this series, is when they change, when Colorado makes their adjustment, what happens? Or can they? Maybe they can't. That was a concern I had with Vegas coming in, that maybe they'll never get to that style, or if they get to the style, that it's not going to generate enough offense, or it's not going to be able to slow them down consistently enough. Maybe. The other thing is last change. The misfit line was unbelievable today. Stevenson, Stone, and Pacioretty were great again on McKinnon. That was huge. That may change going back up to Ball Arena. That's going to be interesting. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'd be remiss if I go any further and not and talk about comments first if I did not at least bring up this is $8.8 million Alex Pietrangelo. That was it. That was it. That's what they paid for. They paid to play this system against this type of team, to give him all of the tough minutes, to allow Theodore to have some more opportunity to roam, to allow these opportunities where you get the easy minutes on Whitecloud and Hague. To have that ability, you have to have Alex Pietrangelo at his absolute best. Today was as good as we've ever seen him as a Golden Knight. Fantastic. And yes, there might not be points. I don't even know if he got points. I don't even care, to be honest. There are moments where it would be nice and that he could potentially have been a game breaker. I think we're past that. Maybe that's not what they're actually going to get, but this they can get consistently. It was puck decisions. It was what he was doing in his own end, getting back, making the right decision, presenting the outlet, and helping the Golden Knights get out. The film study might actually be on that instead of the way the Golden Knights were forechecking. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I want to watch the tape again. But as a whole, that was Alex Pietrangelo. That is what you pay for. That is the superstar. That guy is borderline Norris Trophy winner. That guy was better than Cale Makar tonight. We haven't been able to say that all season long. He was better than Cale Makar tonight. And that's a huge, huge part of why the Golden Knights were able to get the job done today, why they're now headed back in a great position, why it's very likely now that the Golden Knights could win this thing. It looks real now. It really does. And I'm aware. You didn't like it after 0-2. You love it after 2-2. I get that. We're riding 2 big-time wins. This series is not over. This series is not going to be easy for the Golden Knights to clear out. I have a hard time believing the next six periods are going to go like the previous 8. I think you're going to see an adjustment from Colorado. But them having to come out of the way they play gives the Golden Knights much more belief, because they're going to keep playing this way. And if they keep playing this way and they don't change the way they're playing, they're going to have a damn good shot of making this happen. This Periscope and all Periscopes are brought to you by Conler & Associates CPAs. Have questions about unemployment, stimulus checks, tax extensions, amendments, or you want somebody to run your QuickBooks? Call Conler CPAs. Go to conlercpa.com. Tell them SinBin sent you. They'll hook you up with a free consultation. Let them do your taxes instead of you doing your taxes or your books. If you hit it big on the Golden Knights, if you have one of those plus 310 tickets, which I think I said on the Twitter space that I liked, if you have a Golden Knights plus 310 ticket to win the series and you bet like hundreds of thousands of dollars, let Conler do your taxes for you. If you bought the crypto on the low when the Ethereum was down, maybe you have tons of capital gains. Let Conler & Associates do your taxes for you. Don't have them do their taxes. I would imagine they do them themselves. Okay, so what do we got? This one's probably a little, oh, that's not it. This one is probably a little bit of a stretch. I don't know about that. Yeah, look at this. Thanks, Conler. Yeah, I like that. Let's see. What do we got here? Yeah, I mean, this is clearly the best the Golden Knights have looked. Really, I would argue ever since the beginning of that. Well, there's twice I could maybe be there. It's like after in the middle of that Winnipeg series, and then I would argue that there's certainly something to be said about when they were up 3-1 on San Jose. They certainly look like a cup-winning team. I think slowing down Colorado and being able to do this to Colorado should absolutely give us tons and tons and tons of confidence that they could finish off Colorado. There's still a huge hurdle on the other side of that. So before we start saying that 8 wins is going to win us the cup, like, let's relax and realize that that Tampa team won last year. They're still there. Like, that team's legitimate. They're still here. Today, to me, Kolesar was fine to good. I thought that was the worst of the 4 lines, which is not a huge knock on them. Everybody was good today. The 4th line did exactly what they needed to do. And in this series, when they're playing this style of game, the 4th line has 2 objectives. 1, get us back or keep us on the style of game we're playing. They actually have played it all season long. Very conservative, get it deep, and then they work it around. They actually were a little more offensive and a little more dangerous than they have been in the past. That's great. The other piece is when you're caught in, when you have these tough opportunities, when you are against the matchup, you got to survive. Tread water. They've done a great job of that. There were a couple times where I said, oh boy, this is what Bednar wants. And it didn't happen. Nothing came of it. I think part of that is, again, Bednar went after his top players. They came in, and it didn't happen for them. They didn't get anything in that game. Nothing. Not at all. Like, McKinnon didn't really have – there was one time where McKinnon was loose in front of the goalie. That's really it. That to me is amazing, and that's where last change is going to come in huge. Like, let me answer this one first. Yes, the winner of Golden Knights versus Colorado plays the winner of the North Division. I'm assuming that's pretty clearly it's going to be Montreal. I guess pretty clearly this series not too long ago I thought was pretty clearly going to be Colorado, and maybe now it's not. So maybe I shouldn't be saying that. But yeah, it's probably going to be Montreal. I think people are going to take Montreal a little lighter than they probably should, namely because their goalie's really friggin' good. So that's not going to be a walk in the park, but Vegas should win the series without any problem. If that's what it is, they should win the series without any problem. Then cup final, it might be a little different. All right. Would I give Grubauer a break? No, absolutely not. I mean, they're certainly not going to take him out, but I don't give him a break if you're saying like, letting in soft goals or whatever. Again, he quit on a play again. It's very weird. Like, we're so used to Marc-Andre Fleury that never quits. The puck can go in. He's still trying to get it out of there. That's what we're used to here. Grubauer's not that. He quit on a play. He absolutely quit on that play. He saw Riley Smith raise his hands, and he thought the puck was in, and it wasn't. And they made a good play behind him to keep the puck out, and then he wasn't there to make a play. And to me, he's been a huge reason why the Golden Knights have gotten 2 massive game-tying goals from Marchessault. He's been a huge piece of this. There's no question about it. I would not play Reeves ever. Like, even after today, I still think they don't need him. I think they can do more. I think that there was a moment there where there was some mucking up after the play that I didn't necessarily need. I just don't need it. I would say absolutely not that Marc-Andre Fleury's got every single game the rest of the way. The only way I could potentially see that changing is if maybe they were to lose 2 in a row somewhere down the road. Like, I just don't see any way that you can go back to Leonard. I really don't. Yeah, I was also hoping I was wrong, and to a degree, I have been wrong, very wrong, in the fact that I just didn't think there was any way that playing this style was going to be consistent enough, that Vegas was going to be consistent enough. They have been. And B, I wasn't really sure that it was going to generate the amount of offense that it has. I really didn't think so. And I guess my main reason for that was I thought that Colorado would be more able to handle it, and they haven't at all. Like, they've looked awful, and it's all the Golden Knights. Like, after the last game, I came in after the last game saying, well, maybe that's not the best the Avs can give. Maybe their effort's not quite there, or not effort's the wrong term, but like maybe the way that they were going about things wasn't going to be the same moving through the rest of the series. That's kind of how I felt. And I thought, okay, well, there's two ways game 4 is going to go. They're going to have a good push at the beginning. They had it. They actually got the goal. So in many ways, it's even more impressive that what the Golden Knights did as they went on here. Like, they got the push. They got the goal they wanted. They did everything they wanted from that team meeting and Bednar calling out his best players. But then, all of a sudden, everything changed. Vegas got right back into what they do. The game went right back into the style that they wanted to play. They did everything they needed to do, and it put the Colorado right back in the exact same position. And the little tweaks that they made, which I think were where they were dumping the puck in, I think they were trying to take slightly different lanes going in on the forecheck. And the idea was, we're not getting there quick enough. Let's take more lanes towards either directly at them, as opposed to, I think sometimes they were trying to angle it off to the corner. Or I think the second thing was they wanted dumps in the corner, as opposed to where Fleury could get them and shooting it in hard, or ring it all the way around to allow it right back to where they were getting in. Those were minor tweaks. I think they need a massive tweak now, to where now I think they have to say to themselves, if the red line is there and we get it, the puck's got to go in. It's 100. It has to be 100% or 90% or whatever. 100% is ridiculous, but it's got to be a massive percent. That's how Vegas has played all season, all series long. When they get to the red line, they look up and they say, can I carry it in? If I can carry it in cleanly, and I'm positive I can carry it in cleanly, I'll do it. But otherwise, I'm putting it in deep and we're going to go get it back. That's how they've played. It's a conservative style. It's a style that relies on your forecheck. It's a style that relies on getting up the walls and making things happen when you get there. They've been awesome at it. Absolutely tremendous. As good as they've been all year, and maybe even beyond it. These are the best games the Golden Knights have played, these last couple of games. Like, this one is the best game they've played all season. They were tremendous in every single area of this game. And the reason for it was, A, their style was right, and B, Colorado did not have a response. They started trying to carry the puck through the brick wall. And when you do that, you start giving the puck away, turnover after turnover after turnover, and look what happens. I also miss Greg up in the press box. We definitely miss Greg. I'm still not wrong on Reeves. He's still the worst player the Golden Knights have, no matter what. Price is standing on his head. Yeah, the dude's been awesome, but let's not worry too much about that. Let this one an outdoor. Oh wait, how long for an outdoor playoff game? No, I don't think there's going to be an outdoor playoff. Sorry, I read that wrong. I thought you were asking for an outdoor game. No, I don't think there's going to be an outdoor playoff game anytime soon, because there would have to be two. It would have to be a home and home. I just don't see it ever happening, because it changes the course of how the season's going to go and how the series goes. I would make the argument we may never see one. The only way I could possibly see one is if some team somewhere along the lines goes to only playing outdoors, and I don't think that's going to happen either. So I'm not going to never say never on this kind of stuff, but highly unlikely. All right, so what to watch for in Game 5? Number one is you're actually going to have to focus a lot more on Colorado than you are Vegas, because Vegas has played the same way for 3 games in a row, and they have continued to do exactly what they've needed to do in those 3 games. That is what they're going to continue to do. They're going to continue trying to get it to the red line and dumping it in. They're going to continue with this forecheck. They're going to continue trying to make it very difficult for Colorado to exit their zone. And then they're going to be set up as well as they possibly can in the neutral zone to have good gaps and force Colorado to skate through them as opposed to over and around them. That's what they're going to do. The difference is Colorado is going to have a different plan. They have to. If they don't, they're going to lose the series. It's the same as what we said against Dallas. When the Golden Knights said the worst thing we can do is change in Game 5, they had already lost the series. If Colorado comes in and says, we've got to play the exact same way and it'll eventually start working, they will lose the series. I have a hard time believing that they're actually going to say that because the games haven't been going even close to their way. There's no analytics that say they're playing well. There's nothing that says they should continue playing this way. It's about how they're entering and how Vegas is getting the puck out when they go to this safe, more dump it in style. When they're able to get the puck in deep consistently, how often is Vegas able to get it out consistently and without it taking a while? We've seen they've done very well on that to this point. And then B, no matter how many times it goes in, how long is it, or does it ever happen that Vegas starts backing off the blue line? That's going to be the biggest portion of this for me. The Golden Knights, if the puck goes in and in and in and in, and they end up doing what Colorado has done, which is starting to struggle getting it out, then what happens is you start backing off the blue line, allowing them to carry in to make sure you have better defensive coverage once they get in, and then you're dead to rights. That's what the Golden Knights have done to them this point. If the puck goes in deep, they're not confident they can get it out. So they back off the line. They're giving up some opportunities. Vegas is getting it in easier. The difference is if Colorado is able to get it in deep and then get it back enough, and Vegas comes off that blue line and ever abandons their gaps. If they ever abandon the high line gaps, they have to be on top of the blue line, always, every single time it's possible. Even if it looks like things are going not as well behind you, you still have to be on your gaps. It's key. So the main thing you're watching is how is the puck going in to the Vegas zone? That's the question. Is it being carried in? Is it being dumped in? And then with whichever one of those it is, or is it being turned over? And that's how Vegas, allows it in. And then once it's there, how long are the Avs sitting in that zone? Like how long are they in that zone having this offensive zone time? And then the last thing would be watch who's on the ice with McKinnon. Anytime there's a draw, watch who's on the ice with McKinnon. I would imagine they're going to go heavy away from the matchup that's been so good. I wrote about it. Stevenson has been amazing in that matchup. They're going to have to go away from it. I don't see any way. Where was that one that I wanted to put up there? Somebody said, oh, here it is. Yeah, there it is. No. Watch Nikita Kucherov and look at some of Nikita Kucherov. Yeah, you're right. We could put this banner back up. We'll put that banner back up. There you go. We got the banner back up. Let's see. What is this? Avalanche weakness been exposed. The Golden Knights can continue to shut down that top line. So yes and no. I don't think the top line being shut down is why the Golden Knights are winning. It's a piece of it, and it's nice. But I don't think that's why the Golden Knights are winning these games. The reason I think the Golden Knights are winning these games is because they're not consistently getting the puck in deep, and they're not consistently having offensive zone time because they're trying to ram through the Vegas trap in the neutral zone. That's why. And because of that, because they're constantly ramming their heads into the wall, what ends up happening is when their first line finally gets out there, Vegas is able to match up because they have home game and they're in control of the line changes. When you're not getting consistent zone time, you're not in control of when the lines are going to change. You have to change when it's safe. When Vegas has the puck consistently, they can either decide we're going to take this rush with this same line that we have, dump it in and go get it, or we're going to put it in and we're going to change, or we're going to deal with it in our own zone and change because they have to change. That's kind of the difference. That's number one. And the other thing is that line is trying to do so much because all the other lines are failing underneath them. Like Saad has been good, but aside from him, they don't have a guy where you can lean on and say, that's been the guy. That's a guy that's going to be a problem. Makar has been about as good as he can be. And today, I thought the Golden Knights did a really good job on him, taking away that time and space. And he was actually one of the few players that I think was willing to dump the puck in. So that's definitely a huge part. And then, this was a huge thing coming into this series. Like, there's no doubt The Golden Knights had to frustrate the Avalanche. They had to. They were able to do it, and now they put themselves in this position. So when I came into this game, I saw it going one of two ways. I will definitely say I was surprised by 5-1. I would also say if you told me Colorado was going to score first and within the first 3 minutes of the game, I would have said that's probably the end of the Golden Knights. So in that regard, yes, that portion surprised me. I think there's a lot of things that surprised me. But the way the game went is not necessarily one of them. I thought that there was two different ways that this game could go. One, Colorado regroups, comes back, and figures it out. That was number one. Number two was this, which is Colorado comes in, can't figure it out, can't change the way that they're playing, can't do what they had been doing in the past or early in the season against Vegas or whatever. Let me turn this back off. Losing my train of thought here. Hang on. Let me reset. Number one was Colorado was going to come in and figure out what they were doing wrong. They were going to make their adjustment, and they were going to live in the Golden Knights offensive zone. They were going to have a hard time defending, and they were going to be able to get that speed going. That's how I thought it. That's actually what my prediction was. That's why I picked 4-2 Colorado, because I thought that them going nuts in between the games, yelling at their top line, having this time meeting, making these little adjustments, changing up their middle six a little bit, all of these things, I thought there was a real chance that that was going to kind of get them to a part where they were going to start breaking out better. And if they were breaking out better, they were going to be able to get in the Golden Knights offensive zone easier, more often, more consistently. That's how I thought it was going to go. But the other piece, and I said this on the Twitter space, the other piece was I thought there was a real chance that this game went similar to the last two, in that all these little tweaks that Colorado were doing and their belief that it was compete level and these types of things, it's not. And that's what ended up happening tonight. It's not compete level. It's style. It's strategy. It's the way that they played in these last three games. They're trying to play with speed when the Golden Knights are neutralizing their speed. And what's happening is they're ramming into the Golden Knights. They're putting themselves in a position where they're never going to succeed. They need power play goals. They need fluky opportunities. They need the Golden Knights to hand them chances. And they did a couple of times in the offensive zone, but because of how often the Golden Knights were there and how rare it was that Colorado had shift after shift after shift where they were consistently getting out of their zone, those mistakes weren't going to kill the Golden Knights today. It comes back to breaking out. Colorado's a very good team breaking out of their own zone. In this series, in the last three games, they've been bad. Maybe not bad in game two, maybe not horrible in game three. They were horrible tonight. There were moments in those two games where they were terrible. And the reason for that is because they're consistently trying to do way too much when they're out. Then they get hemmed back in and they're out of position to go back in. What I thought was going to happen in this series, I still haven't seen. 4 games in, we still haven't seen it. What I thought was going to be possible and likely and probably going to happen, and where I wrote about frustration, was puck in, puck out, puck in the other way, puck out, puck in the other way, puck out. That's what I thought, because I know both of these teams have the ability to break out. Colorado has not broken out of their own zone even close to the level that Vegas has. And that's why the Golden Knights have smashed them 2 games in a row. Smashed them. The only concern I have going forward, and this is where I don't want this to be taken pessimistically. I want this to be taken as understanding that this is going to be hard because this team is very good. I don't expect them to be this bad breaking out of their own zone at home. I just don't. I don't expect them even to be this bad ever again breaking out of their own zone, because I think it's awfully clear that that's what has to clean up. So I would expect that over the next 2 days, they're going to work to figure out how to clean that up, how to have better outlets, how to deal with the way the Golden Knights are coming in. They're going to have adjustments. That's the concern that I have, is if they are consistently breaking out and then they bring this newfound strategy of saying we're only carrying it in if we're sure it's there, then we're going to have a breakout battle. And if they're more focused on it over the intermission in between than the Golden Knights are, and they're more relying on what they've done to this point, I'm wondering, do we start to see things flip back? It's very, very, very hard to win 3 games in a row in a series. Doesn't mean the Golden Knights can't do it. And there's also a real chance. There's a real possibility. And it's, I mean, as likely as everything I just said, there's a real possibility that Colorado just flat out can't play that way. They haven't played that way all year. It's very possible that they just flat out can't play that way, that they have to play with speed. They have to try to get in transition. They have to wait for the opportunities. And if the Golden Knights aren't handing them to them, then it comes down to, are the Golden Knights going to finish? If they finish, they'll win. They'll win game 6, or they're 5, and they'll win game 6. It's very possible that that's how this can go. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't know that it's going to go that way. I think this is going to be hard. I don't think the Golden Knights are going to win the next 2 games. I am starting to now believe that they are going to win this series. I really do believe it now. And again, it comes back to the same concept I've been saying the entire night. The main reason why I believe the Golden Knights have a great chance to win this series, and if you ask me right now to pick the series, it's Vegas in 7. The reason why I'm picking Vegas in 7 right now is because I'm shocked at how much offense gets generated out of this conservative, simple, dump it in and forecheck style. Their forecheck has been better than I thought it could ever be. They've been amazing forechecking. And that's a huge thing that I thought they'd be good. I knew the Golden Knights can be good. I didn't think they could make the Avs look like the Ducks, look like the Sharks, look like the Coyotes. They've done it. They've done it for 2 games in a row. They've in many ways done it for 8 periods in a row. And in many ways, right now, game 1 looks like a massive anomaly. Hopefully that is the case. It's going to be a tough game. Game 5 is going to be challenging. We'll be back talking about it when that one happens. For tonight, hell yes. Golden Knights are right back in it. It's 2-2. I'm a full believer. I'm fully on board. I don't think this is anywhere near the massive climb it used to be. This is at worst a 50-50 series. At best, the Golden Knights are a little bit of a dog, if not a bigger dog, because it's very possible that Colorado can't adapt. So that's where I'm at. Hopefully it continues going the way the Golden Knights can have it. Hopefully they continue to be able to forecheck, get the puck in, and if there's anything we can cheer for most, it's let's hope that Colorado doesn't think they need to change. Let's hope they keep banging their head into the neutral zone trap, keep trying to get through, and keep turning the puck over and handing opportunities to the Golden Knights. 2-2, game 5 is on Tuesday. I am very excited to see what happens in that one. Let's go.